Friday. I'm so happy that you're here. The masks are falling down, the masks are falling off. We see this everywhere, and this is the topic of this video, and I will break down in 3 sections. First of all, I will talk about my channel for the people who are new here and watched my recent video, which I will be uploading several more, so stay tuned with that. So why people, especially, I keep talking about the spiritual fraud, and we will talk about this first. The spiritual woo-woo people, the fake astrologers, fake spiritual people, fake tarot readers on YouTube, they are out of control, okay? They're out of their minds, they're out of control, and their masks are falling down one by one by one. I will tell you exactly what they do, and I tell you exactly how ridiculously crazy they are getting more and more, and what can we do about it. Second, I will talk about the saga of the fake Blake Lively and fake, I don't know, Tyler, what's her name? I don't even know these people. Oh my God. Taylor Swift, right? I mean, I shut my mouth for a really long time about Taylor Swift. I kept saying that it's just so obvious how fake they are. We will talk about this. This is because last week I said I don't want to talk about Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. We will talk about this today. And last week's Friday Live, we talked about the Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Pells and Victoria Beckham saga. So watch those. And I made a, socio-psychological analysis with narcissism and all that. So watch that. And the third is because of these fakeness and how this fraud, actually, not only the spiritual fraud, but fraud in general, particularly spiritual fraud, how can you protect yourself? How can you have financial immunity? Because they will drive you to financial bankruptcy. We see this a million times, okay? The cult leaders, the spiritual gurus, their times are over. I say this more than 2 years now, that their times are over. I said this since 2023, and the time has come. This is the time. Their masks are falling down, but I'm telling to tell you how they, again, fraudulently fake it so and turn it around to make you believe again they are at the game. That's not and that's still their time. So for that reason, it's always whatever the astrology that their claim is in, we are times that we are in, for some reason we are always in the time of these spiritual gurus. That's fake news. And we will discuss all of this today. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Ayguen Sahin. I am a scientist. If you haven't know that already, I'm a scientist and I do analysis based on biology, physics, chemistry, history, economy, sociopsychology, sociology, history, and everything in combination of that, okay? So I'm not an astrologer, I'm not a spiritual guru, and I am not a tarot reader, I don't know, I'm a card reader, I'm not none of those. I use tools, all of them combined, make a scientific assessment and analysis, and that's what my channel is about. If you care about facts, data, and the scientific analysis, like a scientist, as a scientist, you are the right place at the right time. So subscribe if you haven't already, hit the like button, hype if the hype is available, and the super chats are available and open for questions. I take questions and let's discuss. So now, with that intro, I put a timestamp. And by the way, the comment section, I will pin my course that is specific. It's a beginner level course, one video course. It's specifically guided towards neuro, because I do a lot of neuro stuff, right? A lot of neuro, because I'm a scientist. So meaning scientist, meaning my PhD is in genetics, and I'm a brain cancer specialist, former Ivy League faculty member, etc. So, and I run a cancer organization. So a lot of brain stuff, that's my thing. I did a lot of brain surgery on little animals to do brain cancer research, etc. So I know a lot about brain. I do a lot about neuro, and I do a lot about psychology and behavior analysis. So we do all of this today. And I will pin in the comments section one of my courses. It's about how can you become your own guru, spiritual guru. And I will show you the techniques you can do, because you don't need to follow, that's what we talk about today. You don't need to follow any of these gurus, the spiritual woo-woo people. You and only you and your brain and your mind and your soul that's all you need. And we will use that. Thanks for the like, I appreciate it. And you can, it's called the Neuro-Spiritual course, I think, Neuro-Spirituality. So how can you be your own spiritual guru? That's the beginner level course. And it's on my website, draygenshahin.com. Actually, it's in the chat, draygenshahin.com/courses. Okay, so let's dive in. 6:45. After this intro, we talk about the spiritual fraud, and not only non-stop, I talk about this on my channel. I don't know how many, I have now 15 or something videos about that. And I wanted to talk about this today again because I received for my last video, just recent video, comments, 2 comments. So I was like, okay, it's time. And also because I saw Maria, I know you're watching me, I know you're listening, you don't need, just because you wear a jacket, you don't need to fake copy me, it doesn't matter. You're a fake astrologer, that's it. So even if you wear a jacket, there's no point, okay? That's what I'm talking about, guys. So when you talk about spirituality, and there's also one thing also I saw today, and I just literally freaked out, okay? So these 3 things, multiple things that we're going to talk about. So actually one more thing, maybe a 4th thing. Oh yeah, there's so many, like within 24 hours, they were just like, so many crazy things. So first of all, what does even spirituality mean, right? So when you are a spiritual person, all of this, what you see on YouTube, okay, is about somehow these fake tarot readers, fake astrologers claiming to be the spiritual light. They're the light, right? They are the light. Not you. They are. They can channel. Even right now, when you look at it, there's some person, and I talked about her, called Gabriella. She's a psychologist. She has a psychology degree, and she somehow not enlightened for the last 2 years. She had such a nice, she was such a sweet person, and she had such nice, she was really down to earth. She had super nice content, was doing tarot reading, whatever, but she was so down to earth. It was just so sweet. For the last 2 years, and this always happened, this is what my observation is. These young girls, this spiritual tarot reader or whatever, when they are all single, okay, and they do non-stop these, I don't know, relationship tarot readings, right? What does he think about you? What did she think about you? What is he doing now? What will do in 2 seconds? What will do in 2 minutes, right? That sort of thing. So these are pathetically, and I say pathetically not because singlehood is anything bad. I mean, right? So, I mean, that's not the point. The point is obsessively and dangerously single, that they're using this as a toxicity and spreading this around. And then these young girls get a boyfriend. I watched this with my own eyes for years, observation, okay? Then they get a boyfriend. They claim these boyfriends to be my twin flame. This person is my twin flame. Then these, and the other person that I'm talking about, the same identical pattern is from Holland, and her name is what's her name? Sonia. Okay. Identical, claiming to be, they have a twin flame. Then their content, I'm telling you, turn 180 degrees, ultra toxic. I don't use the word toxic on my channel, but let's say super, super unhealthy, very cuckoo, and very much full of hatred, full of degeneration of a mind, of the soul, full of negativity, talking about people, it's always about the third party relationship, always about third party relationships, always about a snake. This is a snake, this is a horrible person, this person is doing this, and this person does this. It's always about some horrible people, okay? These people then claiming, then their content turn into ultra enlightenment, ultra spiritual, I don't know, the light of the world. Only these people can download whatever from the heavens, whatever, okay? This is and they actually sincerely believe that. That psychology girl, she's off her mind. Like, she's sincerely out of her mind. She literally today, and she nonstop now makes videos about a spiritual message today, and she looks at the sky. I channeled today that the message the spirit tells us, this is what the day is, this is what you're like, girl, shut up. How dare you to tell me that the spirit tells this to all of us? Like, who are you? Okay. Second, this girl literally posts a post on the post section and says, hey, people, lovely people, whatever, if you have any questions to spirit, I just can't, okay? I can't, I'm out of my mind. Like, when I read this, I couldn't believe it. She literally says on the post section, hey guys, if you have any questions to spirit, write down in the comments and I will channel it for you. Excuse me? See, that is identical. If you don't know anything about this Chat Daybell, Lori, whatever person who murdered their children because they are the doomsday couple, right? If you don't know about anything of the murder case, watch that trial. This is the identical language. And everyone says this person is cuckoo, okay? Yet, because she claims the mother who actually with her boyfriend killed everybody around them, including two of the children, in a brutal way, the wife of the new husband, her husband, his wife, and then they get married in La 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 Land, and they claim only them can talk to Jesus, or only them can see Jesus. And everyone believes, oh, she's a cuckoo. So tell me then, how is Gabriela then not a cuckoo person? She literally say to you, if you have a question to spirit, you tell me in the comment section. I just can't. And I will channel that for you. That's exactly why you need my course. How can you be your own guru, your spiritual guru? Because I just don't understand. Spirituality is not anything about this. Tarot reader, if you see the tarot readers, the astrologers, the spiritual gurus on YouTube, if one more person says, oh, in the future, you will be more spiritual. You probably will read more tarot. You would be interested in tarot. You would be interested in astrology. Excuse me. Spirituality has nothing. I'm telling you, what if you don't remember anything? Remember this sentence. Spirituality has zero, nothing, nada, anything to do with tarot and astrology. Full stop, period. Period. Why? Because spirituality at its core is come from, and I will tell you, the opposite direction, which literally published last night. And I know this girl, also young girl, also now she's totally in a cult. These are another cult, and she's another. They are in a spiritual cult, and she is in a religious cult, and a deep dive, both extreme. And I'm telling you two sides so that you can understand what's really going on behind the curtain. Okay? Now before I do the analysis, let's talk about her then. The opposite direction. Deep dive into deep religious cult. And I know it's a religious cult because of what? And I literally, yesterday, discussed this with my dad, who is not only a strong believer, but also an ultra spiritual person, both. And we discuss nonstop the world, and he knows everything about world history. He read every book, and on my channel, I talk a lot about my dad, because he has his room, this whole wall, from the floor to the ceiling, on this side and on this side, full of books. That's my dad. He knows every single history about anything. Ask him, and he knows everything about astronomy, the planets, the universe. Ask him. Okay? That's my dad. And we discuss always, since my childhood, about politics, economy, any topic you want, because he knows in every topic. Okay, that's how I grew up. That's how we grew up as a family. We non-stop discuss because of my genius brain of my dad. And he's an Aries. My mom is an Aries too. They are both geniuses, okay? So now, this girl, she was a tarot reader, okay? Then she came back, she had a pause and she came back. She was doing tarot. She was very good at it. She was very sweet, also down to earth. Then she disappeared again. Oh my God. She recently came back 180 degrees, totally smashed to this side of a deep core religion belief. And she literally then make a lot of videos, shorts about Jesus told me today, don't do this, don't do that. Like, girl, shut up. Then yesterday she made 50 minutes video, 1 hour video about why I stopped doing tarot and astrology. Girl, you never did astrology, so beside that, tarot reading, okay? And then I just watched 2 minutes. because I knew exactly what this was about, because I saw her shorts before, because then I saw, okay, she is like deep core, deep dive into religious cults, okay? And the first 2 minutes she said, oh, we need to, and I said this to my dad, he freaked out. We need to, what was the word she said? Give ourselves to God. And you, by God, she means Jesus, okay? Because that's what it is, Christianity. As if only spirituality is about Christianity. It's insane to me. Like, as if, and then she's like, we have to give ourselves, something like that, to God. That's it. And everything else is devil. It's the devil's work. Tarot and astrology is devil's work. So we have to give ourselves that she didn't say give ourselves, but some like a word. What was the English word of that? Oh God. I don't know, I forgot. So kind of like giving ourselves to to God. And this is insanity to me, and this is straight up core religious cult. It's cultism. When you devote ourselves to God, is that what she said? Devote? I think something like that. So like really deep dive course. So give up ourselves to God, okay? And God, by God, she means Jesus. So now that's not spirituality. Spirituality comes from deep origin wise, has a core from religion, okay? Because you, in spirituality, there's something higher, right? Like a higher than earth, higher than a human being. And some religions call it God, Allah, Jesus, Buddha, right? So, but in the core, what I'm saying and what I believe in, I think sort of like spirituality to me, and as I keep saying, and I had really, really hard discussions, I took my ground, I stood my ground. I said, I found my own religion because I don't believe in any of these current religions. Why? I don't need religion to be a good person, to do good on this world, to be a humanitarian, to not lie, not cheat, work hard, earn money, educate ourselves, educate myself, teach others, be smart, use my brain, take care of my body, take care of my health, take care of others. That's it. I said 15 things. That's it. That's spirituality. Full stop. Full stop. If you are, and that's the fraud on my title. That's the fraud. If you claiming to be a spiritual person by tarot reading, by astrology, by spiritual guru, and you lie to your audience's face, you cheat by making pregnant pictures and you're not even pregnant, by lying saying you are pregnant while you are not, by cheating people into membership or courses, classes, by giving air, literally air, no knowledge, just total fake SHIT, and make tens of thousands of dollars. I did the math before. I did the math in front of you. That spiritual fraud, how much she charged in the school membership, $90 per month, $97 per month, and she has 220 members. That's 6-figure in a year. Oh, 6-figure in a month. Actually, 5 figures in a month and 6 figures in a year. It's 100K. Okay. So this is financial. We'll talk about the financial fraud. This is financial fraud. If you lie, if you cheat, okay, if you talk behind people's back, if you come and copy my jacket, if you come and copy my words, if you come and copy my videos, my brain, my words, I'm talking to you, MJ, fake astrologer, tarot reader, okay? When this is not spirituality. And let me tell you something. Spirituality, and I have tons of videos already on my channel about this. The history, if you notice, back in 2011, this got a big explosion from 2011. And guess what? 2011 was the exact time when I start on YouTube, seeing on YouTube, when I first was in a YouTube and seeing, at that time was only astrology. There wasn't really much of tarot reading there at that time, 2011. That was the first time me starting to watch these astrology videos, although I did do much more before then, before I even came to the US, because I came into the US way before then. And back in Europe, I was doing the tarot, and before, as a kid, I was more in doing like the astrology stuff, interested in that. But the tarot was done before I even came to the US. So in 2011, then was a time when this YouTube was for me new, and I watched these Australians, British, and Canadian. Those three. There wasn't even anybody in US person, astrologers. And I made videos about that. Why? Because that tarot and astrology, that comes from the British Empire, full stop. Full stop. If you don't know nothing about Salem, right? Salem, Massachusetts, if you know nothing about it, if you know nothing about England and the time when the witches were literally burned to alive because they were witches. That's what they said. At that time in history, they were labeled as witches, seeing the people who are foresee the future, and that's how they burn. And there's a museum even in Salem, Massachusetts. Go and go into the museum. It's a horrendous museum, and I even filed a complaint about it because children shouldn't be in here. There's a lot of screaming and all that, like real life thing. It's just horrible. And I said, why are children in here? So it's horrendous. And that's why the tarot is like all from the British Empire people, countries like Britain, Canada, and Australia. Now, the spirituality with the chakras and all of that, and the whatever chakra, I don't even know what chakras are. I have no clue, and it doesn't bother me a bit. Why? Because that's Indian spirituality, originated in India. Why? Because of the British Empire. Duh. That's why the spiritual tarot and astrologers from this British Empire combo this Eastern culture, spirituality, the woo-woo, the guru, right? The word even guru is from India, of the British Empire. What are we talking about? and that's what I'm saying. Literally today, there was somebody in a meeting told me, because I was speaking German and Turkish and all that, and they said, oh, do you know an author? She called Elif Shafak. And I was like, what? And I literally, like I just did, grabbed the book from Elif Shafak. This book here, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's like Valentine's Day. By the way, I have a lot of Valentine's Day stuff on my Etsy store. Designs, go back and check that, myinnerroyalty.etsy.com. I put the link there, you can check it. This book, and I grew up with Muslim faith. That's it. I am not part of any religion. Okay? I don't believe in that. But this book here, I mean, I grew up with Islamic faith, right? So I know a lot of all these angels. I mean, everything you can think of Islamic faith, I know it. As a kid, I remember as a 12-year-old, I, at that time, was fighting against, and I was able to synthesize by learning in school about Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and Buddhism later on in high school. I was so curious about Buddhism. So I know these 4 core religions, and tell me, I will tell you everything. As a 12-year-old, I knew all the deep dive of all the religions. That's why, as a scientist brain, later on I became a scientist, but I always had the synthesis at that time, and I always said to my dad, I do not believe that's in the religious law or the law of God or whatever it is, or heaven's law, that any religious person should charge money for any prayers or whatever. At that time, people would give like in envelopes money to the I don't want to say priest, but you know what I mean, the person who was invited to give prayers at homes. And I was freaking out as a kid. Hi everybody, hi Jerry. And I, as a kid, was freaking out. I was taking to my dad. I remember take my bad dad to the side, and I was saying, this should not be allowed. This cannot be possible. He's like, yeah, okay, no, it's that was the kind of the thing. But that's, as a kid, I was against that spirituality or religion should not have anything to do with money. But the spiritual fraud gurus, they make even classes, large workshops saying, you are so out of your mind to think that spirituality has nothing to do with money. Of course it does, because I would come here, I would charge you $1,000 to join our, I don't know, spiritual cult, okay? When I was 12 years old, I decided I wanted no part of being an adult. But that now we are, right? But I think we have the responsibility as an adult, as souls that really understand what being adult really means, and really use our brain, our heart, and mind combined, so that we can actually act like an adult, be and function like an adult, and to see the world like an adult and live our lives like an adult, instead of falling into the fraud traps. And as I showed this book here, this book is such an awesome book. And as you can see, I have a lot of like chapters here because it's just incredible. I love this book so much. This book If you want to learn about Rumi and Rumi's teacher, Shams Tabrizi, and I am certain you have not heard of these people at all. And Rumi, like the love poet. Screw that. Rumi was a revolutionary spiritual person who actually, author of the book again, it's Elif Shafak. She has 15 or so books. Elif Shafak. And this book is about love. Love, okay? But love to God, but in an Islamic spiritual Sufism way. That Rumi is the founder of Sufism. Have you heard of Sufism? If not, I'm sorry, you can't claim that you are a spiritual person because you are clueless. Rumi's teacher is Shams Tabrizi. This is the story, how they kind of met and how they came together. So there is a story even that Rumi has tons of books. Books. Then he run into this stranger. Yeah, you're welcome, Gary. Run into this stranger, okay? And the stranger said, what do you have there? And he said, yeah, my books. And then he drops the book out of his hand and there's a pond of water. All of his books fell into that water. And he said, what did you do? He's like, you don't need that. Listen to your heart. This was such a power. This is a known story. But if you're a spiritual fraudulent guru, fake tarot reader, fake astrologer, fake whatever the heck, you don't know this stuff because you don't read books. You just steal from here and there and other people's channels and fake the jacket, right? Copy the jacket. You're just copycat. You are not a spiritual person. No spiritual person would copy anyone because a true spiritual person believes in their brain, reads books, is knowledgeable, is able to assess and analyze and synthesize information using the heart and the soul. And no, we don't need a Gabriela telling us what we need from spirit, and the spirit through her tells us what the answer is. Screw that. That's spiritual fraud, full stop. Okay. Enough of that. Now let's move to Blake Lively and Taylor Swift with same topic of why the masks are falling down. This is exactly on Monday. We have a huge shift. If you haven't watched already, Rockets rule, Falcons droll. UT grad here. Hi, so awesome. Do you know my last name means falcon? Did you know that? Oh, that's so funny. So, why the masks are falling? Because on Monday, if you haven't watched already, watch my recent shift because a 165-year cycle is over and all the masks are falling down one by one. And today, Epstein files were released. 3 million Epstein files with no filter. And even Donald Trump was not covered. Why not before? Why now? Because it's the time of the masks are falling. Taylor Swift, like how on earth who would even believe that Taylor Swift was somebody who you can trust? A girl who is 35-year-old acts like a teenager, and that's her generation. I'm so sorry if you are a millennial. Everyone who knows me know that about my view about millennials. I made tons of videos, and the last video actually, it's the millennial generation. I explained to you why the millennial generation are so much career focused, so much status focused, and are ultra narcissist, and it's just me, 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 me. But they are inside of them still like as if they haven't lived their childhood. It's not just Taylor Swift and stuck in a body of a teenager. I literally, for 2-3 years in front of me, there's a park. In a park, there's a new kind of a group popped up, okay? They are millennial, and I called them adult children. They are literally adult children. They come together after working hours. They're playing ball, like in groups, okay? They play large groups in a huge, they occupy the entire public park. No dogs can go in there anymore. I cannot chill there anymore. That's my chilling place. I can't do that anymore because they occupy, they are entitled that it's mine. Screw you. It's now mine. And they play ball. But the way they play ball, and they're all millennials, these 35-year-old young professionals, they scream. They scream like their lungs out, like children. Even on the park in the mornings or in the weekends, there were primary school kids playing soccer from school every Saturday morning and Sunday morning. They would have the whole field. They would have these tiny goals, and they were playing soccer in teams. And you can't even hear them. They're children, primary school children, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. They don't even, you can't hear them. But these millennial 35-year-old girls and boys, and the girls, oh my God, screaming like a 5-year-old girl. Like, oh, I just, how many times I complained about them. Even to their face, to their managers, whatever, to the city, whatever. It's just, shut up. You are 35-year-old. Even 5-year-olds don't scream like this. The girls, oh my God. So this again is identical with Taylor Swift. When I see Taylor Swift, I see them. Identical, same age, but they stuck in the body of I don't know, Taylor Swift stuck in the body in a teenager because she had some trauma in her school, was bullied. Excuse me, who wasn't bullied? I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm saying who was bullied? I was always bullied. Why? Because I, as a kid, had to move to another country, which I didn't know the language. And in school, I was some special girl who comes from a different country, and I couldn't speak the language, so it was devastating. Yeah, so it's not fun, but it doesn't, I was always Ivy Leagues. I was always good grades. So it doesn't mean, when you have a strong personality, you can overcome it. That's what I teach. But so that's why these entitled people, the entitled girls like Blake Lively and, oh my God, Taylor Swift, and my theory is why she stuck with Travis Kelce. Let me tell you this. Okay, finally open the can of worms, okay? I shut up for so long. Since we're talking about Taylor Swift, here comes, okay? And nobody talks about this because people just like to copy paste things, and I like to analyze from all angles, okay? That's what I do. tells Kelsey Travis doesn't like her at all. Full stop. He doesn't love her. Like her, yeah, not love her. He's not in love with her. It's for him a phenomenal opportunity, as we could see, financial, and all he wants really is the attention. I have absolutely, by the way, shout out, lol, you got some triggers I want. Resistance to anger or judgment. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're millennial. I know, but you know, obviously not all of them, but you can be the single person out of there. And I'm so happy about this if you are not one of those like stuck in the body of a 12-year-old, but or a 5-year-old. But for example, by the way, I want to say shout out to New England Patriots, New England Patriots. People are people, like trees are trees, dogs are dogs, I know. But New England Patriots are New England Patriots. So shout out to New England Patriots. So in any case, I had absolutely no idea who the heck, and I guess many people like me, who's Kelsey Travis? Like, nobody knew who he was. And even if he's an A-League player, I have no idea. So he got famous because of Taylor Swift, and that was his benefit, okay? It benefited like a maniac, made a lot of money because I'm a former athlete, okay? And as athletes, like high professional athletes, no, I am 66 retired. San Francisco, isn't 66 San Francisco? And so, what I want to say, yeah, for high performance athletes, always it's important for a high performance athlete. And I have my family, my cousin is an A-League soccer, he's a A-League goalkeeper in soccer, so a very famous one. So he's now a technical director. But in any case, for a high performance athlete, it's always important to have a career afterwards, because out of nowhere you are done. And that's horrible, because you're not even in an old age to retire. You are a young 35-year-old, I don't know, tops 40-year-old, you know, like Sidney Crosby, right, in hockey. He's still going. I don't know, he's 38 or something, 39. He's still going crazy. So stuff like that, right? So you need to have a career afterwards. And he knew that he's going to retire, but he had to secure his career. And voila, he has his career, right? So now, why did suddenly Taylor Swift had so many horrible, and obviously it's almost as if only she got so many horrible boyfriends. All of us got horrible boyfriends, girlfriends. This is life, okay? None of us had this ultimate, and only she's the drama, and only she's the victim. I'm like, oh my God. No, we all had people, horrible people, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. It's life. So now this means this is because we are growing up. That's the part of growing up. You learn lessons. You run into people, and then you just move on, okay? Because you develop yourself. That's life. And why she stuck with him, and that was a moment I saw she with him, and this ultra which relationship, that's bizarre anyway, in any relationship, to do like in your face, like, go away, I don't want to watch this. And so the reason for that is because her boyfriends that she claimed that she was always like, she was like, oh, this didn't get along, nothing worked out, was because the circle, she was always like in this Hollywood, the ultra rich, ultra famous people. As I keep saying it, that's always look at, and this is my moment of teaching for you, okay? Always look at the person who are they dating or who are their friends. That's how you know who this person is, truly is. This was immediately for me the point, okay, I knew exactly at that moment who Taylor Swift truly was inside as a character based on that, instead of focusing on her ultra, I don't know, Hollywood, whatever, I don't know, Grammy, what, these types of ultra rich circle. That was never her circle. That's why she never could get along. That was not her level. The same thing with J-Lo. J-Lo and Ben Affleck, I always keep saying they will not match, because J-Lo's quality and Ben Affleck's, I'm not saying Ben Affleck is higher quality, God, no, but still, they are not matching quality-wise. Taylor Swift, quality-wise, she's a girl next door. That's it. She is a country girl. That Hollywood, that Grammy, that ultra rich, that's not her circle, internal circle. Do you see what I mean? Outside, yes, she can wear whatever Birkenback she wants. Doesn't matter. Inside, she's the girl next door, a country girl. And who's Travis Kelce? A country boy. That's why it's a match. That level is a match. The internal quality level is a match. That's why she never had a good, she wasn't feeling it. That's not her circle. I don't care if you're a billionaire at that age, that's not your circle. Okay. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Gary. So glad that you were here. So, and that's why the masks are falling down. If you watch my last video, because of 165-year cycle is over, and because it's over, all the masks are falling one by one by one. Going forward, if you want to be on the right side of the road, on the right side of the history, and if you know me by now, on my channel, everybody knows me who know that, I always preach to you to be on the right side of the road. Always, no matter what. Because otherwise, it will come back and haunt you. It will be. On this earth and on the heavens, okay, at both levels. Justice on earth and justice on the heavens can only apply if you are doing your job of being on the right side of on the road at all times, at all cost. That's why I have developed my blueprint, the 3-step blueprint for how you can gain your justice back. It's my course on my website, dragisahin.com/courses. This is how you get justice on earth and justice from the heavens. This is my blueprint, and I highly recommend because I apply this all the time. So now, let's move to the final topic of the spiritual fraud, the financials immunity you need so that you can stop falling into these money traps of these YouTubers and the fake spiritual people, right? The fake spiritual cult leaders, fake religious cult leaders. Is unbelievable, because I I don't want to go there. Okay, I just don't want to go there because I just literally right before I came online, I saw a video for one of the recent news, but I just don't want to go in there. And that's same thing, the religious fraud, where they haunt you and check, they analyze you and know that you are your financial background, and then they literally attract you into their circle. That's true for spiritual fraud and for religious fraud, okay? Cults, both spiritual cults and religious cults. So the only way, and that's my second teaching for you, the only way you can be immune to this spiritual financial fraud is by you, as I always say, your brain, right? Your mind, your knowledge, trusting your heart, your soul, your gut. That's it. And the combo of all of it. You and only you have the power to connect with anything and anyone. No one can go between you and God, you and spirit, you and angels, whatever it is. No one. This is actually literally what in governments, in democratic countries, governments, it's the secular system where religion and politics are strictly separated in secular countries, right? That's the secular system. That literally means when you apply this to your own life, no one can go between you and God, and you and spirit, you and angels, you and anyone. Your brain can easily analyze and say with your knowledge that, like the comment I got, that somehow one of the political figures that I'm not going to say who she claims that has a demon planet in this person's chart. Like, what are you talking about? What on earth are you talking about? This is spiritual woo-woo stuff that she apparently believed because she heard it from somebody. That's nuts, actually. It's actually nuts. Because then the second person tells me, oh, you practice astrology, by the way. That's not science. I'm not practicing anything. I know the planets, I know physics, I know biology, I know how the ecosystem works, I know chemistry, I know history, I know world events which I follow, and I can make assessment based on that. I'm not believing like the other person that somehow a planet is demon and is in a politician's chart. Like, how can you even believe in this? Like, it bogs my mind. Like, how can you even believe in this? Only people who know nothing can fall into this. And then you can easily spend $200, $300, $500,000, which there's one girl, she's a Taurus, and for whatever reason, all of these tarot astrologers are Taurus women, focus crazy on money, making money, like this Maria charging you like a fortune. Of course, she's money focused, money driven. okay? Makes stuff up, politics, and politics, and then she reads whatever charts. Screw all of that. That's spiritual fraud. That's actually taking advantage of people's vulnerability. That's evil. Taking advantage of people's vulnerability and maybe lack of strength for whatever reason and make money off of it, that's evil. That's actually evil. And that's fraud, and that's evil. Full stop. So, and since I combined all of this together, let me do one more thing that I would add here, and because I have this in my mind for so long, and I will finally do it, okay? Because that's it. I am here. Listen, I know how to read tarot. I read cards, and I do this for an MJ. No, I truly do this for more than 2 decades. Not like you since 2019, okay? 2017. That's, you can fake yourself into it. I don't care. So when the original way you read tarot cards, and I'll show you right now. Okay, this is tarot card, okay? I'm going to tell you this right now. These are tarot cards, okay? So, the original way you shuffle the cards are this, okay? You shuffle the cards. You can even shuffle it like this. But the original way you shuffle is like this, okay? And when people tell me, you don't have to tell me how I shuffle. No, there is some rules into that, but I will tell you exactly why these people would scream. So you cut the deck. You cut the deck either 3 times or 1 time, but you must cut the deck. That's how it works. And then this King of Wands constantly comes to me. I don't know why. And then you pull the cards from the top. Okay? Look at this, what came out. Yeah, chapters are closing. Okay. Anyway, so this is how you do it. But if you see any tarot reader who does this, oh, spirit, talk to me. That's BS. Because as you can see, that's utterly BS. That's not spirit. That's your ridiculous hand gesture. Okay? This is not spirit. Plus, what makes you think, why would you be so lazy? Why would you be so lazy and let the spirit decide what card comes out? Where is your spirituality? This always is a question in my mind. Where is your deep connection to spirit? Where is it? Aren't you the midman? The midman doesn't do this. Oh, that's tarot. No, that's BS. That's not spirit. That's because you're lazy. That's what it is. That's because you are lazy and you just want to make money on YouTube. That's what it is. And then the second thing about the tarot readers, if you see that, they are like this. Sagittarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Aries, Sagittarius, Taurus, Aries, Gemini, Aquarius. Like, what? What? Let me say this out loud for the last time. For the love of God. Tarot cards and astrology sign has a zero, nothing to do with each other. Zero, zero. Okay? If you don't believe me, why don't you just open your ears and hear them in one moment? Number one card is suddenly one sign, and the next minute, another card is the same sign. Or in the next minute, one card is assigned to another sign, and then another card is another assigned to the same sign. Like, why? Why? Another third example is, for example, here, I don't know, here, Six of Cups is a Scorpio card. Based on what? Kino does that. Six of Cups is it's a Scorpio card. Based on what? Why is Six of Cups a Scorpio card? Like, why? Then, all cards, pretty much every card in the deck is a Sagittarius. Why? Why do you know about these characters? This and don't get me started with characters, and that's another fake astrologer, a tarot reader. Takes stories and characters. She's a tarot reader, but she says, oh, I tell stories with characters, but the character happens to be a Scorpio. Yeah, just unbelievable. Okay. And then she claims, oh, I can be spiritual as I like. Yeah, of course, because of your money. Because then you have a dog who's a tarot reader too, and that's how you make money too. Right? Because if your dog is a tarot reader, right? Make that make sense. And these are spiritual people. And yeah, you go figure. And then again, I don't know, here, Death card, Scorpio, that's your card. Why is Death card a Scorpio card? Why is the Emperor in Aries? Why is an Emperor in Aries? Like, why? Scorpio can be an Emperor. Very well be, if you know astrology, right? Originally ruled by Mars. Why is the Emperor not a Scorpio? I'm telling you, 2 days later, maybe somebody will tell, oh, Aries, Emperor is a Scorpio card. Just because they watched us, okay? Like, they make stuff up as they go. You can't, and there's this other woman here, also Taurus. She literally, after the tarot reading, she's like, Sagittarius, Taurus, Scorpio, Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini. Like, it's utterly nonsense. And the people got so used to it, and no understanding, and they get mad when they do not name any astrological sign. It has nothing to do with that. Stop it. Another thing, the fourth fraud, is the scrying, right? There's this girl from New Zealand. I'm seeing, like, what? And then these other one, right? The sand, the flower, the water reading. Yeah, believe it or not, water reading. She's also Taurus. She's also water scrying. And she makes stuff up as she said, I'm seeing a pen. I don't know what that means. It's for somebody. It's so specific for somebody. I'm seeing a book. I don't know what that means. It's for somebody. It's so specific. If you see that, that's the fifth. If you see this, this means for you. This means to be you for you. That's the new Gen Z ultra fraud. That's the new ultra fraud, spiritual fraud on YouTube. If you see this, that's because you mean to be. No, it's because of YouTube algorithm. It's math. That's what it is. Not because of your spiritual guru thing. That doesn't apply on YouTube. It applies in the past, in my generation, when we would open a book in our hand, my heart, my soul, my mind would open a page. Remember, if you're my age, you would know what that means. That's this, and you would point, and that was the sentence. That was my generation. That's how, that spirit, that's what it mean to be. That sentence, you're supposed to, that was the answer. But in this day and age, you cannot apply this on YouTube because YouTube is run by YouTube algorithm. It's math. It's not because spirit want me to see this. Stop it. And the last, it's the sixth one, is also brand new to Gen Zs. Now everyone doing the spiritual thing in their cars. What's with that? And then they are, one shoulder is down and almost completely naked, half naked, putting their leg up here, wearing a short, like again, half naked. It's open until here with a lot of cleavage. Don't get me started with that. And then they start with a hook, right? With a hook. There's somebody who thinks about you this way. I feel it. And they are telling you stories. It's about them. It's not about you. And everybody, yeah, it's so matching with my life. They're talking about themselves. It's their life. And they even say it. They even say it. It's not because spirit or whatever says that to them. It's their life. They say it. I feel it like this. I feel it. Somebody of you, someone that's very specific will be famous. Will make a video and that will go viral. Yeah, girl. That's you. You talk about yourself. Somebody's watching you. Yeah, you. Somebody is watching you. Okay, that's it, guys. I wanted to come on here and say this. And again, the only way you can overcome this and be immune to this fraud, and this is exactly the time to take leadership. We are in the time right now for you to take charge of your life and take your leadership in your hand. And that's only when you use your intelligence, your knowledge, your brain, your heart, your soul together and synthesize it and make it yours, your authenticity. Full stop. It's your authenticity. And that's it. And if you want to learn more how to do that, the framework to do that, very basic, a beginner class, beginner course, one video, and I go through with PowerPoint slides. That is the Neuro-Spirituality, or how can you be your own spiritual guru. That's on my website. The link is below. The link's in the chat as well. draygenshahin.com/courses, and check out the other courses as well. I will see you there. It's very cheap, actually. It's only $14. The other one's a little bit higher. So my two beginner class, It's $14, very affordable because I wanted to make it affordable. So you can actually take the class there. Once you are in, you can take the class whenever you want and watch the video with the PowerPoint presentation. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the likes. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in our deep dives in week 5 on Monday, right? And where we actually tomorrow on Saturday we do our journaling together, calm journaling. That's the video coming up tomorrow or Sunday. Actually, I will do that tomorrow, and then on Sunday we will be published. I will see you on Sunday, and on Monday we do our deep dive neurobiology, applied neuroscience, and we talk about I am love. Do you see how much it fits? I can't believe this. I just can't. How much everything fits together. Do you see this? Your authenticity turns into I am love, because we will shine then from the inside out, and we will be the light. That's how you be a light, not because of somebody tells you that they are the light or you are the light beings, whatever that means. Okay. All right, guys, have a good night, happy weekend, and bye-bye.